Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are wading into waters that I think almost everyone eventually finds themselves in, usually without a life jacket.
Mm.
We're looking at a stack of research, articles, and a specific framework surrounding a moment in life that is universal, heavy, and frankly, terrifying.
It really is.
It's that specific transition. Maybe it happens over a frantic holiday visit, or maybe it's a slow burn over 6 months, where the dynamic in a family just flips upside down.
A total tectonic shift. And what's so interesting about the materials we have today, which revolve around this philosophy called It's Mom's Home,
Mhm.
is that they argue we usually get the diagnosis of the problem completely wrong.
Yeah, so.
We look at the situation and we think the problem is real estate. We think, oh, mom can't do the stairs anymore, or the yard is just too big to mow. So naturally, the first call is to a realtor.
Right. You see the physical house as the obstacle. It's a logistics problem.
Exactly. But these sources argue that the house is just the stage. The play that's actually happening is about identity, autonomy, and this really complex
Yeah.
emotional gridlock.
Emotional gridlock, yes. And if you try to fix the stage, sell the house, without understanding the play, you are going to have a disaster.
I want to start with a term that kept popping up in the reading, which I think frames this perfectly. The sandwich generation.
Mm.
It feels like such a buzzword, but when you actually look at the definition in these sources, it is brutally accurate. You aren't just busy, you are literally squeezed.
It is a literal squeeze. I mean, on one side, you have your own career, maybe your own children who are, draining your bank account and your energy.
Right.
And on the other side, you have aging parents who need increasing amounts of support. And the people in the middle, the sandwich filling, so to speak, are often just paralyzed. They're operating at max capacity before the crisis with mom even starts.
And that paralysis is what I want to dig into first.
Yep.
Because the sources describe this phenomenon called the silent alarm.
Yes. It's not always a heart attack or a broken hip that kicks this off. It's these small signals. But I want to push on that. What does that actually look like? Because I feel like it's so easy to rationalize things away when you're busy.
Oh, absolutely.
You just tell yourself, oh, mom's just tired, or she's just becoming a bit eccentric.
That's the danger zone. The silent alarm is usually a collection of these micro failures that we normalize. The sources list things like the condition of the home, and not just is it messy, but has the whole rhythm of maintenance stopped?
Okay.
Is the garden, which used to be her pride and joy, now overgrown and full of weeds?
Mm-hmm.
Is the mail piling up on the counter?
The mail is a big one. It seems so trivial. I mean, who likes opening mail? But the sources frame it as a cognitive flag.
It's a huge cognitive flag. We're
Yep.
talking about unopened bills, double-paying bills, or just these stacks of junk mail she can't manage to sort through anymore. It represents a breakdown in executive function. Then you have the physical signs. Unexplained bruising on her arms or legs, which might indicate falls she isn't telling you about because she's afraid you'll make her move.
Mm.
Or the refrigerator test.
Mm-hmm.
You open it up, and it's either empty or it's full of expired food.
Okay, so let's say I notice this. I go over for Sunday dinner, the lettuce is brown, there's a stack of warnings from the electric company. The instinct for a lot of people, and I include myself in this, is to just fix it.
Right.
Throw away the lettuce, pay the bill, and go home. Why is that the wrong move?
Because you're treating the symptom, not the cause. You're putting a Band-Aid on a structural failure.
Mm.
And usually, the adult child does this because the alternative confronting the reality that mom can't manage is, well, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It implies a role reversal that feels deeply disrespectful. You feel like you're parenting your parent.
It feels intrusive, like you're violating their privacy. Walking into your mother's house and judging her housekeeping just feels wrong.
Precisely. It feels like a betrayal of the family hierarchy. So you hesitate. The sources call this the adult child's dilemma. You're caught between concern, guilt, and a massive, massive knowledge gap.
Huge.
You know how to refinance your mortgage. You know how to get your kid into summer camp. But do you know the difference between skilled nursing and assisted living? Do you know how Medicaid look-back periods work?
Absolutely not. And frankly, nobody wants to know that stuff until they have to.
Nobody wants to know
Hmm.
until it's 3 a.m. and you're panic Googling it. And that is where the standard approach fails so badly.
Hmm.
The standard approach is, this is too hard, the emotional weight is too heavy, the house is the problem, let's list the house.
Treat it like a transaction. Liquidate the asset. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Right. But it's mom's home. This philosophy we're looking at today argues that if you treat a life transition like a business deal, you will crash and burn emotionally. You need a different framework because you aren't moving a couch. You are moving a life.
And this is where they introduce the concept of the mom lens. And I have to say, when I first read that header in the notes, I thought it was going to be something, I don't know, sentimental or fluffy. But it's actually described as a pretty rigid decision-making algorithm.
It is. It's a filter. The core idea is to stop asking questions like, what's the market doing?
Hmm.
Or how much inheritance is left? Or even, what do I, the son, want? And replace all of them with one singular question. Does this decision serve mom?
Okay.
And the framework breaks that down into 3 non-negotiables.
Which are?
Safety, comfort, and dignity.
Safety, comfort, dignity. It sounds simple, but I'm trying to picture how that actually resolves conflict. Because in my experience, if you have 3 siblings, you have 3 very different opinions on what safety looks like.
That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Let's play out a scenario.
Yeah.
You have 3 siblings. Sibling A is the sentimental one. Mom loves this house. She raised us here. We can never sell it. It would kill her. Sibling B is the practical one. The roof is leaking. She can't climb the stairs. This is disaster waiting to happen. And sibling C is the financial one, worrying about how much the nursing home costs.
The classic Thanksgiving fight waiting to happen usually involves shouting and slamming doors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you argue based on what you feel, sentiment, practicality, anxiety, you will gridlock. You'll never agree.
Yeah.
But if you apply the mom lens, you have to run those arguments through the filter. Sibling A says, keep the house. You ask, does keeping the house ensure her safety?
And if the answer is no because she falls on the stairs, then the sentimental argument is invalid.
Correct. It's overruled, not by sibling B, but by the lens. Then you look at sibling C, who wants the cheapest care option. You ask, does this option provide comfort and dignity? If the answer is no, that option is off the table.
It neutralizes the ego.
It completely neutralizes the ego. It's not I win, you lose. It's the lens decided.
That's really powerful. It effectively grants the family permission to act. It takes the guilt out of it. You aren't selling the house because you're giving up or because you want the cash. You are making a move because the current situation violates the safety pillar.
It reframes the adult child from being a disloyal son or a greedy daughter to a protective steward. Stewardship is a key word in this philosophy. You are stewarding her safety and dignity when she can no longer do it herself.
But philosophy is great until you have to actually do something on a Tuesday afternoon. The sources pivot here to a specific tool called the Home Transition Readiness Checklist. Now, I love a checklist, but isn't this just a home inspection, like check the furnace, check the roof?
It's a hybrid. And this is the key insight for anyone listening who loves a tactical tool. Most checklists are either 100% emotional, how do you feel, or 100% structural, is the foundation cracking. This one combines them to give you a readiness score. Yes, it asks if there's a downstairs bathroom, but it also asks, is the sheer size of the home causing anxiety? Is the maintenance impacting her financial stability? Is she isolated from friends?
It connects the physical environment to the human condition. It's measuring the friction between the person and the house.
Exactly. And it uses a specific metric that I found fascinating. They call it the rule of 3.
Yes, this jumped out at me. The idea that 1 red flag is an anomaly, 2 is a coincidence, but 3 is a pattern.
Right. If you check off difficulty with stairs, missed medications, and social isolation, that is your data point. The rule of 3 says, stop guessing. You have crossed the threshold from vague worry to action required.
That's incredibly validating for the person we talked about earlier, the one freezing at 3 a.m. asking, am I crazy?
Yes.
It turns a feeling into a fact.
It converts anxiety into logic. You can look at the paper and say, we aren't overreacting. The data says we have 3 red flags. We aren't betraying mom. We are responding to the data.
Yeah.
It depersonalizes the crisis just enough to let you function again.
So we have the philosophy, which is the lens, and the tool, the checklist. But then the sources take this hard left turn into martial arts.
I know. When I first saw that in the background of the founder, I thought it was a typo.
I mean, usually when I think senior care transition, I'm thinking cardigans, herbal tea, soft voices. I'm not thinking dojo.
Right.
But the founder of this platform is a lifelong martial arts instructor. How does that connect? Are we, I don't know, karate chopping the real estate market?
It's not about the combat. It's about the mindset, specifically the concepts of zanshin, which is relaxed awareness, and the idea of meeting energy rather than forcing it.
Break that down for me. Meeting energy. How does that apply to getting mom to move out of the house she's lived in for 40 years?
Well, think about a typical real estate transaction. It's high pressure, it's act now, market is hot, highest and best by noon. It's aggressive. It's a punch.
Yeah.
If you punch a confused, frightened senior with, "You have to move right now," what are they going to do?
They're going to block. They're going to dig their heels in. They'll lock the door.
They will resist. The martial arts mindset, specifically looking at styles like Aikido or Judo, is about blending with that resistance. You don't force a belt promotion before the student is ready. You don't force the move before the senior has processed the change.
So it's about pacing.
It's about patience and discipline. The source material emphasizes that in the "it's mom's home" approach, relationships are often built months before a contract is ever signed.
Wow.
A typical agent wants a quick win list in May, close in June. This approach says, no, we will wait until the safety, comfort, dignity alignment is there.
That is so counterintuitive to the business world. It's basically saying, go slow to go fast.
Exactly. If you rush the front end, you will pay for it on the back end with trauma, family fights, and deals falling through because mom refuses to sign the deed. If you have the discipline, the martial arts discipline, to prepare the ground, the transition happens smoothly. It's about protecting the person who can't protect themselves.
It's almost like the transition specialist acts as the bodyguard for the family's emotional well-being. They're holding the space so the family doesn't get steamrolled by the market.
That's a great way to put it. You are guarding the process. You're the dojo master of the transition.
Okay, so we're guarding the process, we're being patient, but eventually reality hits, and reality usually involves lawyers. The sources bring up this massive fear of the legal minefield. Probate, estate taxes, Medicaid eligibility. It's the stuff that makes people want to hide under the covers.
It is the #1 reason for paralysis. Families think, if we sell the house, does the government take the money? If mom goes into care, do we lose the inheritance? What if we sell and then run out of money in 5 years? These are massive, scary questions.
So does It's Mom's Home answer them? Do they have a legal team on retainer?
And this is the crucial distinction. I think this is really smart. The answer is a hard no.
A no.
A no. And that is actually a feature, not a bug.
Explain that, because if I'm a customer, I kind of want a one-stop shop. Why is it good that they don't give legal advice?
Because of trust. If a real estate person starts giving you tax advice or estate planning advice, you should run away.
Good point.
They are staying in their lane. By explicitly stating boundaries, we do the transition, we do not do the law, they build credibility, they aren't trying to sell you everything.
So they aren't the lawyer, but they aren't leaving you hanging either.
Correct. They act as the bridge. They know enough to know when you have a problem. They could look at that checklist and say, okay, based on these assets and this timeline, you need to speak to an elder law attorney immediately.
They triage the situation.
Coordination, not confusion. When you are in a crisis, you don't need 10 people shouting opinions at you. You need one project manager saying, step 1, safety. Step 2, call the specific lawyer. Step 3, look at housing.
Yeah.
It just quiets the noise.
And for the sandwich generation who are already drowning in noise, that clarity is the product. You aren't buying a house sale, you're buying clarity.
You're buying a project manager for the most difficult project of your life.
So let's bring this in for a landing. We've covered the silent alarm, the mom lens of safety, comfort, and dignity, the rule of 3 checklist, and this martial arts mindset of patience. If there's someone listening right now, maybe they're driving home from visiting their parents and they have that pit in their stomach, what is the one thing they should take away from this?
If I had to boil it all down, I think the takeaway is you are not late.